Hey guys, I'm back. I'm Samantha and I'm a therapist and I'm creating a video every day for a year. This is video 281. Thank you so much for being here with me. And I wanted to share out of The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. This is a really cool book. Didn't I talk about this yesterday? I'm pretty sure I did. So I'm going to read a couple things out of here. We're going to talk about success a little bit in this video. And I wanted to start with Earl Nightingale's quote, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal." I love that. That is so good. You come up with a goal and you progressively work towards that goal, right? Okay, so that's one definition of success. And then here's another quote from Rollo May, I believe that's how you say his name. "The opposite of courage in our society is not cowardice, it is conformity." I love that one. That one's a good one. We don't want to conform to anyone, do we? Especially our old self. Let's talk about that for a second. Do not conform to your old self. Your old self wants you to stay the old self, right? So we've got to become our new self. We cannot conform to the old ways of doing things. That is going back to the old ways of living, thinking, feeling, behaving, believing, all those things. That's never going to get us to our goals. That's never going to get us to feeling any better, because if you're doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity, as we know. And we've got to create a new mind so that we can create new experiences. So we cannot conform to that old self. That old self is trying to pull us back in, right? Every single day, we're thinking the same thoughts. And so we've got to deliberately decide every day with intention, what do I want to think today? And if we do that, then things change, right? And we can see that things will change externally once you change internally. And I've had, oh my gosh, so many clients in the last week that their lives have just been like up and down and all around. And I'm like, that's what happens when you start changing internally. Things start shifting. And at first they may look like, what the heck is going on here? But then you realize that you're getting what you need so that you can get what you want. So if your life is looking like it's in shambles right now, that's great. Things are changing. We don't want to stay the same. We'd get bored. We really would get bored if you think about it. We get so bored. So when things look like they're going wrong, they might actually be going right, and they might actually be falling in place instead of falling apart. We've got to decide how we're going to look at things, what meaning we're going to give to things. You have to decide what meaning you're going to give. If I got a diagnosis of some illness today, I'd be like, okay, great. I wonder what I'm going to do to change my thoughts, the meaning of this, whatever it may be. I still have this sty in my eye. Well, I think I have two, or something's going on with it. So the first one, it got better. It popped, whatever the case. Well, now I've got something like under my eye, or like on the outside of my eye. So I'm going to have to probably go to the doctor. But I'm like, this is interesting. Maybe it's going to get me out of the house to go to this certain doctor. Who knows the why of things until they happen, right? We just got to go with the flow of synchronicity in our life. Synchronicity will always let things unfold if we just trust it. So we've got to just go with our own flow, okay? So that's another little tangent. And then this is by Earl Nightingale again. He said, "We have a plateau of so-called security, if that's what a person's looking for, but we do have to decide how high above this plateau we want to aim." And I like that, because I think we settle. I would call that plateau almost like, this is good. I'll settle here. I'm content here. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that if you're content and you're happy with where you're at. But if you want to grow and bloom more and, level up in whatever way you're trying to level up, we've got to aim higher. Because sometimes we think, oh, this is as high as I can aim. And we think that we can't do more because we don't believe we can. We don't believe enough in ourselves and our power. So we have to remember that we get to decide, you get to decide how high you aim. So how high are you going to aim? And you got to figure out what you want. That's another quote in here somewhere. But instead of competing, all we have to do is create. Earl Nightingale said that too. We don't have to compete. We just have to create. There is no competition. This is your reality. This is your world. You get to decide what you're creating. There is no competition. I never care about competition. There were so many manifestation coaches on here that I loved. I actually got sessions done with a few of them that are pretty well known on here the last 5 or 6 years. I just loved all of them. They're so awesome. And there's so many therapists on here, and there's so many spiritual people on here. And I was like, well, I'm just going to add my 2 cents and see what happens. And so I didn't care about competition because there isn't any, because we're so unique that we each bring our own unique personality and perspective into everything, that you just find your own tribe, and that's what's so fun about this. I just love it. So you always just have to create, just be you. And isn't it funny that we try to be other people? We try to find out what's working and what's not. And, we try to just basically conform. I don't really like to conform. I've always been the opposite of that. So don't conform to anyone, including your old self. Watch out for that. Watch out for that pesky old self trying to get you to think the old way that you used to think. And let's see, what else? There was another one. I read that one yesterday. That's what it was. Okay. George Bernard Shaw said, people are always blaming their circumstances for what they are. I don't believe in circumstances. The people who get on in this world are the people who get up and look for the circumstances they want. And if they can't find them, make them. Love that. That's good stuff. Who cares about circumstances? He said, I don't believe in circumstances. I love that. Isn't that great? That's how he thought. I mean, why do we have to think like everybody else? We don't. Don't think like anybody else, including your old self. Don't think like that. Think new. Think brand new. If you are brand new, how would you think? Hypothetically, it's true though, we're brand new every second. So how would you think? Are you going to think the same way and get the same results? Or are you going to choose differently and not let your circumstances dictate who you are? Because who you are has no bearing on anything that's ever happened to you or is currently happening to you or will happen to you. It doesn't make you who you are. And so there's one more thing, I think. Let's see. A man is what he thinks about all day long. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that. A man is what he thinks about all day long. And I'll stop with one more by Earl Nightingale again. Decide now, what is it you want? Plant your goal in your mind. It's the most important decision you'll ever make in your entire life. So start planting every day. Decide. I would recommend writing these things down every morning, journaling. Not only, like, I do 3 things I'm thankful for every day. And it's kind of like a small little diary, I'll be like, I'm thankful for whatever happened that day. I'll just say that, like, the day before, or what I'm feeling in the moment, or whatever it might be. But I always write that down every day. But I'm about to get really serious with my goals for the year. And one of my goals is to become as powerful as possible and to show myself that I am powerful in whatever way that might be. And so that's with, relationships, with finances, with career, with spirituality, with health and wellness, all of it. And I want to get more confident in speaking, and I want to create my business, my membership, and my books and everything I've been trying to create in my mind for over a decade, probably I would say over 20 years. The dream is about to be, achieved in the next, year to 2 years, for sure. And it's already pretty much, a lot of it's achieved already, but I want to level up. And so we have to be intentional every day and say, this is what I'm working towards. This is who I want to be, and how am I going to think and feel and behave, and decide you're not going to let your old thinking take your dream away. That's what we do. We let the old thinking take the dream, and it crushes it, and you don't deserve that, and you got to tell yourself that. Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm working towards this goal that I wrote on this card that I'm going to read every day. So write it on a card. My goal is this. I'll have there's so many ways to write these down that, in Think and Grow Rich and in this book that we can get into that later. But for now, just think about it. Like, what if you could write down a goal on a card, what would you write down? And how would you say it? What do you think you would write? How would you feel? And what thoughts would you think? And the more you do that and wake up and say, and you look at your card and you say, this is what I'm wanting, you will tell your subconscious mind that, and it will start to conform to that, because it will remember throughout the day. You'll be like, oh yeah, I remember I wrote this on my card. I've been reading it all day. This is where I'm headed, instead of having nothing to aim for. We got to have something to aim for, right? And we've got to aim higher than we've ever done, because in order to become your new self and not be, let's say, I'm not saying you're all miserable or I'm miserable, but like, let's say we don't want to be miserable anymore. We want to be like happy and at peace. I love to say at peace because I love to feel at peace, and I love to feel in love and joy every day, and excited. Those are my favorite things to feel. And so I just aim for that every day. And I'm like, anytime anything takes me out, I question it. And I'm like, where did that come from? Who told me that? If there's a belief that's there, which there always is. And why am I still thinking that? Why am I wasting my time thinking that? And that's another thing you can say too. Why am I wasting I don't want to say wasting time, wasting energy on that, when I could be using that energy to put over here towards thinking about what I do want. So remember to only think about what you do want, but you got to redirect. And our human brains are so stubborn, and they will go back all the time. And you know it. I've even been able to feel it. I can feel the old thought coming in, and I'll try to redirect. And it's like your brain is up there wiring, like trying to wire back to where it was. That neural pathway is like really deep. So we have to create new pathways in our brain. So start thinking thoughts that help you and serve you. How do you want to think? You get to choose how you think. Isn't that amazing? What if we couldn't choose how we thought? My God, we'd all just be like, oh my God, the whole world would be miserable, more miserable than some of us already are. We don't want that. We want peace and joy and love and all those things. So in order to have those things, we have to start acting like we already are those things. Be those things. Like if you're wanting peace, love, and joy, be peace, love, and joy. You got to be those things on the way to those things. You just got to start creating and generating from inside yourself those feelings. Think about things that already make you feel those feelings and do more of those things, or think more about those things. If it's funny videos, put on a funny video. Like I've said in other videos, I love South Park. I can't not laugh at South Park. I just can't. It's like genius. It's terrible. It's so terrible. I don't know how it was and is allowed on TV at all. It's entirely crazy and genius at the same time. And I've always been a Seinfeld fan, and I used to like Home Improvement and all the TGIF shows, and and Roseanne, that's another one. Roseanne's funny. Roseanne's really funny actually to listen to. And I really liked Home Improvement though. That was a good one. But if you just put on some shows or funny comedians, something that gets you out of, gets you to laugh, really. Laughter is amazing. So you decide your goal, and then you direct your mind towards that goal during the day. You could try this for fun, just for now, just keep it very light. Be like, yeah, I just want to feel peace every day. So in order to feel that, what are the 3 things that I can do every day that would make me feel peace? And then write that down. And you might need to snap out of anger or sadness and first make yourself laugh. And then after a while, then you'd have peace from laughing. Everybody's so different in how they generate feelings. So just start really small and start paying attention to what you're thinking about and what feeling it created from that thought and where that belief even came from. There's always a belief under a feeling. So check your belief systems. Where did this come from? Who told me this? Do I even have to believe this anymore? You can change your beliefs at any time. And I'm going to keep beating that into our heads, because we've got to remember, hey, we can change this. We can change anything. And we have to have an aim, though. We've got to think about, okay, what is it that I actually want? Because sometimes we think we want something, and then when we get it, we're like, I don't even want this anymore. So think about what it is, but think about the feeling you want to feel. That's what we mainly want to think about. What feeling do I want to feel? Because anything that we want, it's because you think you're going to feel better when you get it. And that thing, I promise you, is not going to fix whatever problem's going on inside. So we got to change internally. Always keep that in mind. Changing internally is free. You don't have to buy any medicine or buy a book or buy anything. Your mind is free. Use it. It's been given to you, and it's free. Again, I say it's free, and you have access to it 24/7. And that is amazing. And we were given this brain and this mind for a reason, and we got to use it. We got to use it with intention and be deliberate about it instead of going on autopilot and going back to that old self that wants you to conform. Don't conform. We do not conform to anyone. We are creating a new person. So you guys have fun with this. I will let you go. I'm rambling again, you know. It's over 15 minutes. I'm going to stop now. Tomorrow, I'm going to have my other camera back, my Sony camera, instead of this. I think the picture is a lot better on that one, I'm hoping. It's been a while. It's been almost a month. So thanks for bearing with me with this camera and my audio issues and all that fun stuff. So I'll be back tomorrow, I think, with the Sony cam. So you guys take care of yourselves this evening. And remember, you are so loved. And remember to appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this also if this helps you in any sort of way. And I will be back tomorrow. Bye.